we used to like to harmonize. And Red would always play this one particular tune. He would start. He said, I got a stack of magazines about so high. Can't read them, and you know why. Gotta go tap dancing tonight. A big TV, 40 inches wide.
Get loose, stay inside.
Why?
Gotta go tap dancing tonight.
Yeah. Hey, we've got the cookies in the cookie jar. Oh, so sweet. All we have to tell you, all you do is just watch our feet. 'Cause folks, the music's awful hot. Got to give it everything we've got. Gotta go tap dancing. Gotta go tap dancing. Gotta go tap dancing. Swing the state out. Bop.
Buster Brown, soon to be Dr. Buster Brown. Doesn't that have a nice sound to it?
I think so.
I think so too. Tell me, if you would, how you first started dancing.
When the great dance, the Charleston, became a fad, I think everybody in the world started dancing. It started a whole lot of, I know it started me to dancing. That's me. Charleston was my first dance. You know the Charleston dance?
Yes, I do.
That was my first dance. And I got to the point where I just loved tap dancing, especially after I seen a guy named Pop Whitman. His mother was Alice Whitman, the great dancer with the Whitman Sisters.
The Whitman Sisters,
right.
yes.
And so when I seen this guy dance, I said, that's what I wanted to do.
And how old was he?
He must have been about 9. He must have been about 9 years old.
And how old were you at that time?
Actually, I was going to junior high school. Because I, more or less, what this guy said, I was a lay dancer. I loved to dance, but I never pursued it.
Right.
Until I got to high school. I went to school. Incidentally, I was born in Baltimore, Maryland. I was going to a school called Douglas High School. And in this particular school, they had a show that they did annually. And it was called Autumn Follies. And each new student that came in, and all the students, school students, auditioned for this particular show to be done every autumn. I did the show when I first went up. And they were doing it, when I first went there, they were doing it in the gym. The second show I did, the show had become so popular, we had to get a public place to do it. And school was too small. We were big timers then. We were high class, great dancers. And it was, the show was such a success that we did it in a place called the New Albert Dance Hall. And that's where all the jazz bands, swing bands, used to come to play. I considered myself fortunate to be around with such big guys as Count Basie, Duke Ellington, really, and Jimmy Lunsford, Tiny Bradshaw, Lucky Millen, all those Greek bands.
Right.
Because all the guys that, the big bands, they always wanted someone to direct them. And then next thing they would come to a tap dancer.
To direct?
To get in front of the band.
Oh,
And
really?
direct.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't fortunate enough to get one of those gigs, but I wanted it.
You wanted to be a band leader.
Yeah, I
then.
wanted to be a band leader.
But would you have traded being able to be a tap dancer for being able to lead a band?
Yeah, that was my next thing. I think, or maybe they leveled off. I wanted to either be a tap dancer or a band leader. And so, fortunately, I got to be a tap dancer because my inspiration was, like I said, Pop Whitman. And it was two things about Pop. Pop could dance. I knew that even before I knew about dancing.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'm about 15 or 16 then, and I knew what a dance was. And I thought that Pop Whitman was the acme of dancing.
Tell me about his style. What
He could
kind
do
of-
anything. Actually, he did rhythm. But he could do anything. He could do flips, spins, and another important thing, he wore a long pants suit. Then,
when he was just a child.
then when we were coming up, we always wore short pants.
Right.
And so that looked so great, dressed in men's clothes, that we said.
Yeah.
And Pop Whitman was sensational. We thought that his mama was the greatest lady dancer ever, you know.
So how did you get into vaudeville?
Well, when I did the show in high school, I had two partners. And so we formed a trio. In school, we were called the Three Aces. And so during all the time that we attended school until the graduation, we would do this show annually. And so when we graduated, we stayed together. And our first show was Irving C. Miller's Brown Skin Models.
Brown skin.
That was a show that had a lot of pretty girls in it. So that was
So you got to dance around pretty girls.
yes.
What more could you want at that age?
pretty girls.
Dancing and being around pretty girls.
Yes. And traveling.
And traveling.
Traveling.
Yeah.
Loved it. And we traveled during the southern part of the country, you know.
The TOVA circuit? Yes.
Yes. And I would like to do that again.
You would?
That was the greatest experience in the world.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
So many people didn't want to go on it.
I had no problem.
Then you wound up touring Europe,
Oh, yeah.
and we have to mention that you're a member of the Copacetics,
Oh, yeah.
which was formed to honor Bill
The
Robinson.
great Bill Robinson.
And not too long ago, you were on Broadway in Black and Blue.
We opened in Paris. After we played Paris,
Yeah.
the show came back to the U.S., and
Right.
we did it again.
Besides you, who do you think is the best rhythm dancer?
And besides me,
Yeah, besides you.
I think the greatest dancer I consider a great dancer was a guy called Baby Lawrence. Great dancer.
Yeah.
Actually, when all the guys were all the guggle about Bill Robinson, I rather seen Bill Bailey.
Bill Bailey.
Yes, he
yeah.
danced more my style. The style I like really. Yes.
And your style is so great and has gotten you, now we're so glad, has gotten you the recognition to be Dr. Buster Brown.
Oh boy, say that again.
Dr. Buster Brown.
Whereas James Buster Brown is the only surviving member of the famous Copacetics Club still performing, and whereas his career spans 7 decades, from vaudeville to modern Broadway shows, and several genres from theater to big band dance to film and television appearances, and whereas he is an active teacher and choreographer working under prestigious fellowships, and whereas he has had such an impact on American tap dance that his peers selected him as the sole recipient of the 1998 American Tap Dance Legend Award. And whereas he keeps tap dance alive weekly with tap jams in New York City nightclubs. And whereas he has made other significant contributions to the creation, development, preservation, and promotion of tap dance. On the recommendation of the Board of Trustees, Oklahoma City University has conferred on James Buster Brown the degree of Doctor of Performing Arts in American Dance, with all the rights, honors, and privileges here and everywhere to that degree appertaining. Given under the seal of the University at Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, on the 23rd day of February, Anno Domini 2002.
We were walking coming into the place, and Bunny looked at me and said, "Buster, did you ever think this would happen?" I said, "No. Thank you, it happened. I love everyone." It's been so nice hanging out with these 9 guys. And 1 lady. I had the privilege and honor of working with this particular young lady way back in the. She had just come on the dancing scene. A gentleman by the name of whatever his name was, Earl Dancer. Earl Dancer introduced this talented young miss to New York. And I had the privilege of working with her in Philadelphia at the Lincoln Theater with a great band, and it came at a real opportune time because we had just been fired from the last job we was on. This is with a great humility that I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, look, thank you. Thank you. Please. I don't believe this.
Believe it.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Now this, I never thought this would happen, but wonderful things happen. I remember. Oh, coming up, folks talking about being happy. I had the happiest family in all the world. When I go, although we were the poorest, we were poor. We were so poor. We were so poor that we lived in a house that was so run down, we had to paint it before the city would condemn it.